So I recently found the background NPC, probably like a lot of you guys, from her video on women in video games and how they basically lack a lot of substance and a lot of other things that I feel like a lot of us agree on, but a lot of others don't. And, that's okay. That's fine. But I saw this when she uploaded like 2 weeks ago. So I was really curious on her take on this because I think it's not wrong to want attractive characters in a video game. I want to enjoy what I'm looking at as the character I'm playing personally. And maybe not everyone will agree with me on that. I know, looks and attractiveness are subjective. We all have our own opinion on what is attractive. What could be attractive to one person isn't attractive to you, and that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. I do just think video games, not all video games, obviously, they are deterring from what I guess is more conventionally attractive sometimes because of a lot of outrage out there in the world. But then we get characters with no substance and have nothing to them besides being this one thing, and it's like, Well, let's see. I want to see what she has to say.
And all of this is why I just do not understand why some developers keep getting it wrong. It really feels so simple. Yes, give us great gameplay, fun mechanics, a interesting and meaningful story, but then layer attractive, pretty characters on top of that to create hype around the game,
Exactly.
grab our interest, and hold our
Yeah.
attention. All of this just makes for a much more enjoyable experience. So this video is kind of related to my very first video about women in games, but before we get into it, we have to acknowledge everybody that is subscribed to the channel.
Yeah,
Wow,
she's been doing so
honestly,
good.
I don't really
I'm
even
so
know what to
happy for
say. This
her.
has been such a overwhelming week in the best way, but thank you. Thank you to every single one of you for all of the comments and messages
so
and just all of
precious.
the support. Now, let's talk about hot characters. I've always
Yes.
found it very interesting when I see some gamers say, I don't care what my character looks like, I just want a good game. And while, sure, I believe some people probably do feel that way, when you actually look around at what's successful and what's not, what resonates and what doesn't, the idea that visuals don't matter, it doesn't really hold up. The second you start
That's so true, and especially because she just showed Expedition. All of the characters in Expedition are very attractive people, but they also have so much depth to their characters. And then I think was the second game, the new Dragon Age, I believe. And I haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of clips, and a lot of the characters just don't seem like they have great substance, and the story seems very shallow. And just like, we need to push this thing to make the people happy and make this X group of people happy, when I don't think you need to do that. We don't need to like pander. Just make the game you want to make, in my opinion.
digging into this stuff, it's pretty clear. Visuals play a huge role in whether something hits or flops. And if they
Yep.
didn't, cosmetics
It's true.
probably wouldn't be one of the most profitable parts of the entire gaming industry. The
Fashion
truth
is always the end
I think
game.
most of us do care, even if it's subconsciously. And this
Yeah,
isn't just a gaming
agree.
thing, but for whatever reason, the gaming industry seems especially confused about it. Because books, anime, movies, shows, we care about how the characters look. We always have.
Mhm.
Now, just to be clear, an attractive character cannot save bad writing or bad gameplay.
Yeah.
A great design won't make a boring
That's
game
very
fun, and
true.
eye candy is totally pointless if there's zero substance to back it up. And on the opposite side, it's not like a game is necessarily doomed if the characters are uninspired or unattractive. But let's be honest, we have been done dirty quite a few times at this point.
Yeah.
But when it does work, when you combine great writing, a solid gameplay, and a compelling visual design, that's really when the secret sauce hits. And that's when a character truly becomes iconic. So, how important is beauty really? What can it actually be used for in storytelling? And why does it matter at all? Yes, beauty is completely subjective, but let's try and figure it out together. When it comes to storytelling, beauty isn't just about looking good. It's about what that beauty communicates. It's a kind of visual shorthand for personality, purpose, or the emotional tone of a character. Take Cortana from Halo. She's sleek, luminous, and
she's so
kind of
pretty.
untouchable. Her ethereal design isn't random. It reinforces her role as an AI. She's attractive,
Yeah.
mysterious, highly advanced, but also just slightly out of reach. Or Aerith from Final Fantasy. She's beautiful in this really soft, gentle way. Her design radiates hope and warmth, and you feel that when she's on screen. There's something
She
very
calls me
delicate
pain.
and endearing about her that sticks with you. Then there's Eve
Aerith.
from Stellar Blade, and
Oh my god, sorry. Speaking of Stellar Blade, I believe that came out this week, right? It came out on the 11th on PC. I'm so excited for all the PC gamers to get to play this. I played it, I don't think it was right on release on PS5, but like last year. And I freaking love this game. And she's beautiful. And there was so much controversy, if some of you guys never saw it, around. Because, yes, okay, her outfit can be, kind of saucy. But one, it is made by the same developers that made Nikke. What did you guys expect? Two, I don't care. She looks great. I'm here for her to be kicking ass, going through this amazing story, and looking, well, sexy, for lack of a better way to say it. Like, I don't know. I'm fine with it. Also, people were like, her body's unrealistic, when actually, if you didn't know, her body is modeled after an actual person. And she actually goes in and wears the outfit so they can, like, I think, scan her. And so they can get it very accurate in game, which I think is insane work. And they don't have to do that, but because I feel like they could just model it and, like, be like, yeah, that works. But they go out of their way to be like, come in and wear all these outfits so we can scan them on you to make sure how they look on Eve. So she looks beautiful. Plus, they have a Nier collab. Okay, Nier. That's another beautiful woman to be. And A2. Those are other beautiful women with amazing stories that also hurt my soul.
delicate and endearing about her that sticks with you. Then there's Eve from Stellar Blade, and yeah, people definitely noticed her design pretty much immediately. She's bold, striking, and yes,
Oh.
super hot. But what's cool is that once the game launched, the gameplay actually backed it up. And okay,
yeah, the game
can we
is
talk
amazing.
about Verso from Clair Obscur for a second?
Oh my
because
God, I love Verso.
he is undeniably very handsome.
He's very handsome.
White hair, the posture, the somber expression. He's restrained, haunted,
His
and
voice,
you immediately
Venstar.
feel like there's something deeper going on. These characters
Yeah.
aren't designed to just be pretty. They're designed with intention. Their looks are part of their emotional
Exactly.
blueprint, and the fact that they're attractive is what actually initially draws you in. Their looks tell you how to feel before a single line of dialogue. As humans,
agree.
we are biologically wired to respond to beauty, and that's not a bad thing. So when a character's design feels off, or it doesn't match the story we're being told, that disconnect can make it way harder to emotionally connect. And this kind of visual storytelling has been around for ages. This is nothing new, and it's not just in games, it's everywhere, especially in film. Taking a look at Lord of the Rings, think about Aragorn. Rugged, attractive, weathered, and quietly noble. His entire
her bringing this up, I won't lie, this is a movie I was thinking. I'm thinking about, like, Lord of the Rings and even the Marvel movies. Everyone in these popular, well-done movies with good stories are very attractive. They're all attractive people. All celebrities are hot. Whether it's artificial or not, like, that could just be them. Like, this is just him. He's a good-looking man. And it's just, and we're just drawn to beauty. And maybe for some people that can be seen as like, oh, like, you're so superficial, all you care about is the looks. But what about, like, with nature? Nature's beautiful. And a lot of us are drawn to nature. We're drawn to these beautiful things in the world. It's just how we are as humans. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Some people might think there's something wrong with it, but I don't see anything wrong with it personally.
Think about Aragorn. Rugged, attractive, weathered, and quietly noble. His entire look reflects the burden that he carries, and you can see the weight of his past just by looking at him. Then there's Eowyn and Arwen, two beautiful women with totally different vibes.
And yes, they are elves, and elves are conventionally, in the lore, they're very beautiful and elegant. But it just fits, because, like, elves are supposed to be beautiful and elegant, and these, long-lived beings that are wise. They're just so pretty. Sorry, they're so pretty. I love Lord of the Rings so much. I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd.
Then there's Eowyn and Arwen, two beautiful women with totally different vibes. One is a warrior with conviction, the other is a very soft, ethereal queen. And their looks
Yeah.
reflect who they are at their core. And that's what good design does. It supports the story. All right, switching tones completely here, but I have to talk about my love for the Mummy series very quickly. Because Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz weren't just
Yes.
very fun, flirty, iconic characters. They were extremely captivating. Their
They
chemistry was
are.
off the charts, and they were both ridiculously attractive, okay? But their
Yep.
beauty didn't just decorate the film, it amplified it. The adventure they were on, the romance, the danger. I actually love this series so much. I used to work at the Mummy roller coaster at Universal, and I
Oh,
may
that's
or
so
may not have
cool.
hearing loss in my one ear thanks
Oh,
to Brendan Fraser screaming for his coffee at the end of the ride. Just a little bit of NPC lore for you. So, if we know that beauty helps tell the story, what about when it's entirely in the player's hands? Let's talk about character customization and the literal billions being spent on it. Video game cosmetics are a multi-billion-dollar industry. In fact, media research projects that purely cosmetic in-game purchases will reach 100 billion a year by 2028.
holy
Let that
shit.
sink in for a second.
That's a lot of
$100
money.
billion a year
And I'm
for
not
making
really
your character look
surprised.
nice.
I'm not
Listen,
surprised
all
at
right,
all.
I am not ashamed that I myself played a part in this pretty recently. I hadn't touched Fortnite in like 7 or 8 years, but I randomly started playing duos again over the last few months, and pretty much right after I did, I saw none other than Spike Spiegel and Faye Valentine in the shop. Yeah, I was buying up those V-Bucks pretty much immediately. It was just the idea of getting to play as some of the characters I love so much in a game that I've unironically been having a ton of fun with. It was almost like I had no choice here. Quick side note. Faye Valentine definitely goes on our list of amazing female characters for sure.
Yes, I
And I
love
must
Faye.
confess, I also purchased the Sabrina Carpenter skin. Her dress was just so pretty. Now on the flip side, the opposite is true too. When character design fails to resonate, players clock it immediately. This is very old news at this point, but I always think about Concord. This was
I was thinking about Concord too. I was like, I wonder if she's gonna bring up Concord. Because the moment I saw the designs for Concord, not even the gameplay, anything, I was just like, I don't want to play any of these characters. I don't want to play any of them. Their designs are hot doo doo. Like, no. Mm-mm. Just, like, I think that's the thing. Like, I guess they were trying to be more unconventional with the designs, but literally, I don't think anybody liked them. So, I don't know what happened. Like, even people who may, like, I'm trying to, like, I'm not sure how to articulate this at the moment. Like, I guess a certain group of people, or, I won't lie, I'm thinking about Twitter people. Because I feel like Twitter is its own little pool of existence. But, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they were trying to appeal. Honestly, actually, I don't know who they were trying to appeal to. Now that I think about it more, I guess they're just trying to be more like some cool, like futuristic vibe, but it's not even like cool. It's just ugly. I'm just looking at them and I'm like, oh, these were not it. It was not it. Concord.
it immediately. This is very old news at this point, but I always think about Concord. This was really the first time, at least for me, that I had seen so much public backlash about character design. And for Concord,
Same.
yeah, it kind of seems like this was one of
Yeah.
the biggest reasons that it flopped. People did not like the characters. They felt awkward, uninspired, off-putting, forced in a market full of games
that's
where
what it is. It felt forced. That is what it is. Oh my gosh. See, she's way better at articulating than me. I'm I'm not always the best with my words. So I'm like, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to word it, which is so bad. But I'm working on it. I'm working on doing better.
the character designs are intended to be inherently beautiful, bold, attractive. Concord's cast kind of looked like they were built by a committee just to check boxes. And then there's Starfield. This game was supposed to be
What is
massive,
the
story-rich,
screenshot?
world expanding, but on top of just so-so gameplay, the one thing I kept seeing over and over again was how unappealing, bland-looking, and emotionally empty
characters
the
look
NPCs felt. They
boring.
didn't draw you in or match the
kinda
tone of
scary.
the world. For the most part, they were just generic copy paste that you didn't really
Yeah.
want to engage with.
They're just-
Another game that comes to mind that
They have
I've
no-
mentioned
Those characters just look like they have no uniqueness to them. It's just basic characteristics of people, but they don't feel like individuals. And it also just kind of feels like they just didn't care. Like they didn't care enough to make these characters stand out and make them feel like individuals. Like this feels like a I don't know why it makes me think of the Fairly Odd Parents episode where everything was gray when they're to teach Timmy, about individuality, and it's just like that's what this feels like. Yes, there's color, but it feels gray. Like there's only black, whites, and grays in this world, and it's bland and boring.
Copy paste that you didn't really want to engage with. Another game that comes to mind that I've mentioned before is Star Wars Outlaws. Unfortunately, both good
Yeah.
gameplay and good character design were a miss here. And there were even moments where Kay Vess didn't look quite human, which is
Yeah, she looks like she turned alien in that picture. Is it her eyes? Like it looks like they made her eyes like her pupils like those alien designs where their eyes are just pitch black? That's kind of what she looks like here. And I don't know if it's just the lighting in this cutscene. It just looks like her pupils are gonna expand and her eyes are gonna become black and she's gonna become like some weird demon. I don't know.
very wild because her actress is so stunning. The blueprint was
Oh, she's
right
so
there,
pretty.
but for
Oh
some
my
reason,
god.
I guess they couldn't make a character design that did her justice. And the disconnect across all of these examples is important to note because it's not just about realism, it's about relatability. Games are probably the
Yeah,
biggest storytelling
exactly.
medium, and a character's design should invite you into the story. People
I think that's why, because I've had some like people ask me before, like, why do you like playing women mostly? Like why don't you play guys? Like I guess in even multiplayer games, for example, I feel like I do gravitate towards women a lot more, and I think it's just because it feels relatable because I'm a woman. I think that's all it is, and it's like I want to play a beautiful woman because I'm a woman, and I don't know, I just it feels like I can connect in a way to this character. It's a weird thing. It's like I guess it's more subconscious thing and it's something I've never fully thought about. But I think it's like I guess it starts subconsciously and then when I think about it comes to the forefront. I'm like, yeah, it's cuz I'm a woman. I want to play a beautiful woman. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't mind playing men though. But I'm guessing that's how it is for guys potentially that prefer like if you're playing an MMO and you make a female character. Sometimes guys just want to look at a beautiful woman. But sometimes I feel like I could be wrong. Tell me. Some guys like to play a guy to feel relatable because they're a guy and they're like maybe you kind of want to make yourself, especially in like an MMO or a game where you can create your own character, you kind of want to make yourself and put yourself into this world. It's almost like a deep conversation you can have, but it's also not really, I feel like, because I feel like sometimes anything you say someone's going to have something wrong, like oh you're saying your opinion is wrong or something is wrong and you're offending someone when it's like this is how I feel and think, and I think that's valid.
want to feel something when they look at a character: excitement, admiration, curiosity. And when what you're looking at feels flat, awkward, or
Mhm.
overly ordinary, like someone you just passed by on the street, it breaks the fantasy. And that desire
Yeah,
for your character to
exactly.
look attractive and appealing, it starts even before the actual game begins. Take Baldur's Gate 3, for example. According to Larian, players collectively spent over 8,000 years just in the character creator. That's
Oh
like
my gosh.
16% of the game's total playtime.
No,
Before
I definitely did too. And I like a friend helped me install mods because like there were mods to add like more hairs and more things and more faces cuz I wanted to be beautiful. I just wanted my character to be super cute and my character was super cute.
just in the character creator. That's like 16% of the game's total playtime before even starting the game. And yes, I did contribute to that. Because to me,
Dude, these
character
characters are so
aesthetics are just
pretty.
part of the immersion. They're part of what makes an incredible game. They help me feel more emotionally anchored in the world and make for
Mhm.
a way more enjoyable experience. And this goes for both male and female characters alike. Even in Red Dead Redemption 2, I loved getting to change Arthur's hair, his beard, and outfits, and I'm just so glad we got to do that because I really felt like I could reflect where he was at mentally and emotionally. That small touch made him feel a lot more real. Now, switching gears for a quick moment, Bear with me here, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and out myself for a second. I love a good romantasy book. Yes, 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 I know, but
Same.
before you roll your eyes and you click off the video, please just
No.
hear me out. This genre includes some of the best-selling books on the market. You maybe have heard of series like Throne of Glass or ACOTAR, and the characters in these stories are described with this enchanted, ethereal kind of beauty. It's dramatic, it's swoony, it's meant to sweep you off your feet, and that's part of the fantasy. It's part of the immersion. There's even one fan favorite image of a certain ACOTAR character that went viral, and for many fans, that's basically canon now. Godspeed to whatever casting director has to find that guy in the real world. They will come for you. The
They
exact same thing
they will.
happens in anime and animation, sometimes even more
Exactly,
intensely. These
yes.
characters are designed from the
Gojo and
ground up to be
Mel.
visually appealing. Their looks are exaggerated, idealized, sometimes maybe a little too much, but we love them for it. And there's a reason that certain characters dominate cosplay every con season, or why
Yep.
fans fight over who's best girl or best boy with genuine passion. Even in the VTuber space, visual design is everything. And there's a reason VTubers put so much effort into their appearance, and people can completely fall in love with them before they ever even hear their voice. The look, the aesthetic, the vibe, it all is
That's okay, as a VTuber. That is very true. A lot of people I followed when I first got into VTubing, I initially followed because I'm like, oh, their model's so cute. Their design is so pretty. And then I'd stay longer for who they are. But their design is what kind of made me, ooh, I'm interested. And then maybe you stay because of their personality, or maybe you don't. Maybe they're not your vibe, but it's definitely true that a good design will draw people in. Because it's also like your branding as a VTuber.
before they ever even hear their voice. The look, the aesthetic, the vibe, it all is meant to draw people in. The design is the hook. All of this is so important because when a character looks the way they're supposed to
Shut up.
feel, that's when the magic happens. That's when people get protective. That's when a fandom really forms.
Zelda's so
Piggybacking off of
pretty.
all of that, I'd like to touch on something very quickly that gets brought up a lot in conversations like this. And that's the idea that it's just gamers that are the ones who care way too much about a character's appearance. That it's just gamers who have this problem. Like the second someone doesn't like a design, it's suddenly gamers are just toxic and you just need to get over it. But based on everything that I've said thus far, honestly, I do not think that's fair because this is a
I
thing
agree. I don't
across
think it's fair
every
either.
genre, every medium. Everybody wants well-designed, fun, good-looking, beautiful, charismatic characters. It's how we're wired, and it's why certain characters instantly spark hype online or can aid in tanking a release before it's even out of the oven. Yes, I'm looking at you, Intergalactic. Now, again, I am not saying
And I will say, the actress for this, she's a very beautiful person. She's super pretty. And I do love her in a lot of things she's in. It just does feel like, I don't know, this doesn't feel exciting. I guess. For intergalactic, like, this doesn't feel like an exciting design. And she just looks very ordinary. Her looking so ordinary, I wouldn't expect an intergalactic game. I would expect, I don't know, like maybe like a generalized, like not futuristic game, something more modern. But even then, there's games. Okay, like Detroit is not modern, but it's set in Detroit in a more futuristic world with androids, right? Detroit Become Human. And yes, they're all, based off of their actors. One, they're all attractive. But their designs are also just so unique. Like the clothes they wear, the clothes they change into. But they also do look like ordinary. But there's also like this air about them. Like there's this air about Connor. Like there's something more about him, even though he's in the basic cyber life suit. And he just looks like a guy. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about him that draws you in. Definitely the coin trick was very, a good opening for that game. I don't know. I think for like an intergalactic game where it's in space, she just looks so normal. I don't know. And even like, I'm trying to think like of space games. Maybe even like Alien Isolation. I feel like she looked pretty normal, but she was more conventional. And I just felt like there was more to her character. Because I feel like Tati, all the roles she's getting, and they all want her to be bald lately. I don't know what it is. They all want her to be bald, which nothing wrong with bald women. She's still very beautiful bald. I love her bald. She looks great. Listen, bald is beautiful, guys. There's nothing wrong with being bald. I go bald all the time on stream. But I don't know. She just looks so normal. And I for a video game character, even if this was a movie, I'd be like, she looks boring. It doesn't really make me want to play the game. It doesn't draw me in. And I'm not saying she's not beautiful. Like I said, she is very beautiful. She's very, very beautiful.
Instantly spark hype online or can aid in tanking a release before it's even out of the oven. Yes, I'm looking at you, Intergalactic. Now, again, I am not saying every character in a game needs to look like a supermodel, but what I am so
Like
tired of
Bayonetta.
seeing is characters intentionally designed to be less appealing. When the people
Yeah,
making the decisions
exactly.
nerf a character's looks in a way that has nothing to do with their actual background or story, they just do it just because it really makes no sense. It creates unnecessary dissonance and it pulls people out of the fantasy instead of drawing them in. My last note on this here is just think about celebrities. Think about how people respond to celebrities, whether they're singers or actors. How they look, their appearance is always part of the conversation. And so many
Yep, it
times you could
is.
easily say it even contributes to their success. Even when it technically has nothing to do with what they're known for, it somehow still does. Because that's just how humans respond to other humans. We're made
Yeah.
that way. We notice, we connect, we feel, and what we see at the first glance is the very first step of that. So of course, while beauty is not everything, and it's certainly not a substitute for good writing, gameplay, or mechanics, it's so often our very first impression, and usually it's the first thing that really captures our attention, lets us know what a character is about, and makes us care. And this is something that has always mattered and will always matter, regardless of the medium being used to tell the story. And all of this is why I just do not understand why some developers keep getting it wrong. It really feels so simple. Yes, give us great gameplay, fun mechanics, a interesting and meaningful story, but then layer attractive, pretty characters on top of that to create hype around the game, grab our interest, and hold our attention. All of this just makes for a much more enjoyable experience. For developers who are passionate about the projects that they're making, and they're doing it for the right reasons, odds are this is probably already all included. So it really is a guaranteed formula for success. And they're shooting themselves in the foot if the very first thing that we see is a bland, boring, or just unappealing protagonist or cast of characters. Sorry for the outfit jump scare. This is editor NPC here, and I was watching this back through and wanted to make sure I just clarified this point really well at the end. All right, I'll see myself out. Okay, thank you so much to those who made it
He's
to the
so
end of this
cute.
video. I'm genuinely so glad that you were here. Like I said at the start, this past week has been a bit of a whirlwind. I just want to say I appreciate everyone and your support so much. I still really can't wrap my head around everything that's happening, but I'm just gonna be here doing my thing like I was already planning to do. So thank you again for being a part of this YouTube journey
Yeah,
with
keep
me.
doing your thing. I love her videos. No, she's so good. And she's so well at articulating the thoughts that I can't. She's so good at it. But I really love her videos so much.